Newton Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Anna Nolin provided an update to the school committee on Monday evening, highlighting upcoming programs and improvements in the schools.
First up, I just want to celebrate the Human Resources Department and the leadership of Assistant Superintendent Joanny Santa for arranging Boston College internships. So Newton Public Schools will now be a federal work-study site for Boston College students, and that's the first time that this has ever happened. This is different from our working relationship with Boston College around student teachers. So I just want to let you know that this is a new piece. Second, you're going to hear tonight from our social emotional learning staff leadership. Casey No Miller, the assistant superintendent for student services, could not be here tonight. Her daughter is in a show, and we encourage our people to support their own young people in their life achievements. So good thing is we distribute leadership around here, and the next string is in tonight. So we'll hear from Jesse Krodick and Sophia Brion-Mizels. I mention that because Wayfinder assessment tools is something that is the subject of this memo, where we have obtained this new assessment suite, which addresses some of our portrait of a learner competencies, college and career standards, and our social emotional learning goals. You'll hear a little bit about how this tool is being used within the system. And there is a summary here for the public to hear about. We're excited to see how this resource can be used in things like guidance seminars, advisory, extension blocks, community blocks, and daily interventions and supports with students. I'd like to congratulate the Oak Hill School for becoming a unified champion school again. So this is not a new honor for the Oak Hill folks, but they've earned the unified champion school distinction again this year, and you can read about that distinction. But it does mean that unified sports are in full throttle at that school, and that the state of Massachusetts has seen that they do so with distinction. So we're really proud. Just some fun facts about English language learner registration. All the screening of our students is wrapping up. We screened 702 students this year, 175 new English language learners new to Newton. Interesting note, we're seeing a lot more less common languages in our screen students. We've listed all of them: Lao, Somali, Persian, Urdu, Hakka, Bosnian, Ibu, Burmese, Swedish, Malayalam, Lore, Galician, Khmer, Finnish, Bukian, Czech, Kashmiri. Just wanted you to get a flavor of sort of the emerging and continued diversity and strength of our district. Thrive 25, which is our full day, second annual of professional learning for all of our staff, is in play. All of our presenters were notified today, 3,500 employees, 350 sessions, and that's on November 4th. That's not a day of school for kids, but it's a great day of learning for all of our staff, and we're really looking forward to it. Remember, this event was funded by the free cash allocations from last spring's budget season. Spoiler alert, we'll have to figure out how to fund that moving forward. The first citywide early release day occurred this week for the system, and I listed for you the agenda of all of the curriculum work that is to be done there, and it was the first day of work in workshops with many of our new directors for the curriculum department. There was a job action from the NTA for this agenda, and we are negotiating to ensure that that action does not occur again. But we did lose about a month's worth of time. I just need you to know in terms of the rollout of the math curriculum pilot and also the English language learner curriculum review. You heard in the donation requests today about people donating books about veterans to the school system. We've been putting these books out to all the elementary classrooms, and we are looking for volunteer veterans to read a story to students in the month of November in honor of those who served. We do have an update that's very important for the community to know about early literacy reports and screenings. If you may recall that our CPAC group worried out loud for us last spring that with the change from iReady to Star Reading, that there might be students lost in the mix in terms of students identified as possibly needing supports for dyslexia. I wanted to let you know that the new system of flagging based on STAR guidance and our DIBELS assessment has been checked by the Department of Education. Our leaders interacted with DESE to ensure that we were in compliance with the dyslexia screening scenario with this new combination of assessments. The major difference from our screenings last year is that the STAR logic flags more people who might potentially be weak in the area of reading and need additional services. So this means that the list is about 132 students more than last year. And now the sites will go through, all of our school sites will go through checking and double checking and testing and assessing to see who those students are who really are at risk. I just wanted you to be aware of the larger number, because maybe that would seem difficult to you. I actually think it's more protective of the students, and it actually guards against what the CPAC worried about in terms of us missing kids who may have been screened in one tool and not in another. I think we're actually capturing a larger group to determine how serious the need is for universal curriculum and interventions there. This large number, though, of 532 students supports the actions that we are continuing to make in the area of curriculum and practice. You cannot intervene your way out of a tier 1 curriculum problem. If we do not have a solid foundation for curriculum, many more students will continue to be flagged who may not necessarily have disabilities. So we have been purchasing and providing professional development for learners, general educators in grades 1 and 2 in the phonics curriculum that is more aggressive in targeting and meeting the needs of those identified weaknesses. We've procured a literacy intervention program for all students who are identified. That is a phonics adaptive practice application to use during the day during small group literacy time. And we have infused standards-aligned resources to all of our educators into small group literacy block time in the early elementary, and we restructured academic support positions to all have highly skilled literacy specialists in our reorganization of early intervention last spring. These are huge steps in our commitment to the science of reading, and we are hopeful that their impact will be seen during the middle of the year, where we will be remediating those weaknesses found this fall. FA Day was in the news, and if you click the link here, you'll see a news story about their use of the Yonder pouches and its success. I do want to say thank you so much, FA Day School, for being the tip of the spear for our middle schools, but I also want to give a shout out to the Central High School staff here in this building who've been using Yonder patch for many years in our alternative high school here. They have been innovators, and they didn't get their own news story, so I wanted to make sure they got recognized. Some of our middle school families, as always, I was a middle school teacher and principal, and there's always such immense worry about the transition from middle school to high school. And I really just want to say again, out loud on TV, that middle school gets a bum rap. I think it's a tremendous time, one of the largest time of learning and development for young people, second only to the first year of life. That said, we heard a lot of feedback over the last couple of years about transitions from elementary to middle and middle to high school. So we've been focusing on what that looks like and asking our students about it. So I gave you just a sample from Bigelow Middle School of how students are being polled during advisory or in small group supports. Minute meetings happened with school counselors across the middle schools so that every child got a touch in with their counselors. And we asked them questions about like, so how's it going? And, what was difficult? What's been positive? And I hope you can see this better online, but there's a color-coded chart of people mostly saying that the transition was great, awesome, or couldn't be better, with only 22% saying it was good, and 7% okay, 4% so-so, and 1% not good. So it's just one data capture, but I think it's important at this time to keep pumping the joy of middle school and not necessarily that it's always a tough transition. Finally, a few more things to go. I wanted to share that we in Newton have really been trying to put ourselves at the cutting edge of research. A Boston College doctoral student group is going to study our district's data use and MTSS development as part of their doctoral research, and they will present that back to us. Renaissance Learning will be studying how staff use data to inform their use of instructional tools and support for teacher practice. And they will be publishing that study at a national level. Duquesne University will be studying mindfulness breathing techniques in adolescents in terms of stress reduction. The details of the study are listed here. We had a very interesting meeting this summer with this research team, and this will be a fairly large study of students aged 15 to 18 and their capacity to use mindfulness techniques to reduce stress and improve mental health and perception. I've taken on a few interns this year. Two of them are from the Influence 100 program. Henry Turner and Tammy Strauss are both training in that program for aspiring superintendents. And a math expert from the California coast, who currently lives in DC, Tamira Walker, will be joining us as this year's Harvard Doctoral Leadership Program intern. We will also have returning for us for a second year, Farah Asaraji, also in the Harvard Doctoral Leadership Program, a seasoned central office member who has helped us with human resources work and will be focusing on finance and special education this year. I included the fall athletic update for the Dalton division, which our two high schools are in relative to athletics. I just figured this year we might like a smattering of little updates from across the smorgasbord of things happening in the schools. And there were two follow-up items finally from last school committee meeting. Rajiv asked about the Williams School playground update and the Brown parking lot. Someone asked about the Brown parking lot update. Both are there in for your to answer the question. Just want to be clear that the Williams School playground update is the same one that we gave you last spring. So there's not been a tremendous amount of movement there, but it does detail all the upgrades to accessibility that were made, and that the Brown School parking lot, this is behind the school, has had work done on it since last year using crushed rock to address all the potholes and extend a parking area, but the area was not paved as was originally discussed with us in the initial conception. With the recent decision by the city's sustainability team to not install a solar canopy in the back area, Public Works is now evaluating a more permanent paving of that area. So that is my superintendent's update.